The interactions between particles that we are going to use in this example are lin. So the command to define the interaction type is interaction, lin is the type of the interaction, and then there are the parameters of the interactions themselves. Now there are four types of interactions implemented in DETO: lin, E minus X, which corresponds to what I called weak in tension, weak T in manuscript part 2, E plus X that corresponds to weak C, weak in compression, part 2 manuscript, and tangent H, which corresponds to the case weak in manuscript number 2. I'm not going to show you examples with these. If you will want to use it in your projects, you are free to experiment with those. What we are going to use in this example, and what I will ask you to certainly use in your project, is the linear interaction potential. So let's see on the board what this is. If you take any of pair of particles in this system here and you zoom on them, these will be two particles here, one next to each other. The linear potential is assuming that these two particles are connected by a linear spring. What does it mean? It means that the particles initially have a distance equal to d, the diameter, because they are touching tangent to each other here. If you move the particles away by a quantity delta x, or delta L, let's call it, delta small l, then the force that this particle will receive and that the other particle will receive too, so the two particles will be pulled one towards each other by an axial force equal k times delta L. So this simply defines a linear spring between the two particles. Once the code knows this force, then it can compute the vertical and horizontal component and it can make the particle move accordingly to follow the force. Now the parameter that you need to give to the potential is this k here, because the code knows the position of the particle, so it can compute knows the initial length of the particle, knows the current position, so it can compute the current delta L, delta small l, sorry here, as the current L, the distance between the particles, minus d, the original length of the spring between them. So by knowing the position of the particles, the code can compute the current delta L. So if the code knows k, it can compute the force. So we need to give this k, which is a parameter of the interaction potential, as an input. In this example that we have here, I gave a 100. What units are these? Well, this links a length to a force, so it is in kilonewton. Our units of force, go back to the lecture where I said I decided to work in kilonewton as units here, over millimeter. If you use international system, this would be in Newton per meter. So how did I get to this value here, or how would you get to the value of k in your application? Well, what I recommend you to do to define the value of k is to start from deciding what material you are using. So what material are you using? For example, you could say I'm using steel. If it is steel, the Young's modulus is 200 gigapascal. If you're using instead, for instance, timber, well, a reasonable value could be, for example, 20 gigapascal. So you choose the material that your structure is made of. Then you can consider that one particle in our system has 6 neighbors, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? In the lattice, in the hexagonal lattice that we have defined before, each particle up here has 6 neighbors, like I'm showing here. Now you can use the definition of axial stiffness as if there was a column, a rod, linking the two particles. The axial stiffness of a cylindrical rod would be EA over L, where L is the length of the rod, A is the cross-sectional area, and E is the Young's modulus of the material. Now we need to give values to A and L. Well, L is actually the length at rest of the spring between two particles, so L is actually what we call the diameter, D. E is the Young's modulus that you decide if you decide what material you're working with, so it's up to you. For the cross-sectional area, well, we have to be a bit careful. If we have 6 neighbors, it means that this particle here, the total lateral area of this particle, is going to be divided between 6 neighbors. Okay, so this is going to be the area, is going to be the perimeter of the particle, which is pi times diameter. This is the perimeter of this particle, but then this is not an area, it's a perimeter. How do we get to the area, the lateral area of the particle? Well, remember that this is a 3D simulation, and in the third direction the system is simply having a depth t z equal 1 millimeter. So these are not spheres, these are tiny cylinders with a spherical cross-section and the depth in the third direction of 1 millimeter. So the lateral area of this particle is the perimeter times its depth, is a cylinder, and we are looking in the third direction to get its lateral surface. So it's P times D times Tz. But this is the total area, the area that pertains only to one pair of particles because there are 6 neighbors is 1/6 of this. So if you put together this whole equation, you end up with the stiffness of a spring equal this EA over L, but substituting becomes Young's modulus times pi d Tz over 6d. So dd goes away, it's independent of the diameter, it's the Young's modulus pi over 6 Tz. And notice that if pi over 6 is roughly 1/2, right? Tz in our case was 1 millimeter. That's where you have to be explicit on what Tz you're using in your system, because if you change Tz, you have to put a different stiffness here. So you have to be clear of what assumption are you making about the depth of your structure. And then if you work this out, well, if we say that it's still 200 gigapascal, pi over 6 is roughly 1/2, so this is more or less equal to 100. What units? Well, E is in gigapascal, so it is in Newton over square millimeter, kilonewton over square millimeter is a gigapascal. And then, yeah, so 2 times 3 over 6, it's roughly 100 kilonewton per square millimeter. So my assumption that I've coded in here, this 100 stiffness, kilonewton per millimeter, sorry, per millimeter, not millimeter square here, because this is a kilonewton per millimeter square times 1 millimeter, so dimensionally goes kilonewton per millimeter. This is exactly similar to having assumed that the material is steel for my system, where I have assumed also a depth of 1 millimeter. This is explained also in manuscript part 1, just it is explained a bit faster than what I've done here. So these interactions will be very important because as we apply a displacement, and we will see later how do we apply a displacement, we will deform the structure. As we deform the structure, the particles will try to move. As the particle move, these interaction, these springs with the rate constant of 100 kilonewton per millimeter will generate forces and will tell, these forces will be used to compute, as you follow the paper, the sensitivities that will tell the code how to move the mass towards different parts of the structure, the most important parts of the structure.